I was an athlete. I was playing soccer, and I got pregnant with my son at 19, almost 20, and life just went. The hardest part was you went from one stage of life immediately abruptly to another, and a lot of my girlfriends were not in that stage of life. And so wrapping their head around that was really difficult to understand. And so that was the start of that feeling of that loneliness, because trauma, remember, is anything that inflicts something on the body that is a traumatic experience that shifts the nervous system, right? So pregnancy, birth, those are traumas.
So I know that you have gone through a crazy healing journey, and how you started empowering yourself by doing that. You empowered so many other women till this day. You empower me. So I just love the journey you took, especially in the fitness industry. So please tell me more about it, and tell the next mom that's listening right now about it.
Okay, gosh, thank you. Oh, so sweet. What a nice intro. I was kind of like, oh, wow. Wow. I think honestly for me, this journey began in pregnancy for me. I was an athlete. I was playing soccer, and I got pregnant with my son at 19, almost 20, and life just went and completely stopped. And as I knew it, and as it was kind of how I thought things were going to go, they completely went another direction. And in that moment, I don't think I even knew what was coming. And my pregnancy was really rough. I was really sick. I gained upwards of 100 pounds. And a lot of people don't know that. I do share it, but it was a really unhealthy pregnancy. If I wasn't sick, I also didn't want to move. There was a lot of shift. I was really unhealthy. I thought it was completely appropriate to eat whatever I wanted because I was eating for two. And I just lost myself a little bit through that journey. Movement, things like that just felt really hard. And so I think that through the pregnancy, I lost myself. It was like, and the support really wasn't there. I did have a beautiful family, and my son's dad was incredible. But the hardest part was you went from one stage of life immediately abruptly to another, and a lot of my girlfriends were not in that stage of life. And so wrapping their head around that was really difficult to understand. And so that was the start of that feeling of that loneliness. And what we know now is that usually what shows up in pregnancy is going to be amplified tenfold in postpartum. So there was just so much we didn't know, though. And so that was where I really felt like I lost me. Then postpartum was just, holy crap, just such a hard journey. I had this new baby who I was in love with, but also suffered something called postpartum mood disorder, that was an anxiety. So there's a lot of different postpartum disorders that we don't know about. And at that time, I had extreme anxiety around his safety, and that I didn't want anybody touching him. I was scared to go outside. I was in a shell, and I was pretty lonely in that. I had lost my identity as an athlete. I was overweight, struggled with that for a really long time. And then that became this long process of getting into an addiction of diet pills. At the time, there was something on the market called fen-phen. And that was a diet pill that they were prescribing that basically now is completely banned in the world because it's like methamphetamine.
Oh, wow.
But you wouldn't eat on it. And unfortunately, I see that same cycle rebirthing itself right now within Ozempic world. And I'm not knocking that because I think there's some beautiful things to Ozempic. And I think that if it's done correctly and managed properly, that it can be a very helpful tool. However, most of these are not being managed properly. And that's the case of what happened to me. And so what that created was this endless cycle for about 5-6 years of this, and then me seeking out diet pills that would be, whatever hydroxy cut at the time, whatever it was that had the ingredient that I knew was going to make me not eat. And so that became a really big issue that I knew I was lost. And there was probably, I remember the moment of truth for me that came with, I just looked at myself and I thought, what am I doing here? Like, I feel checked out. I don't even feel okay anymore. And that's when my love for fitness kind of came back to me, when I was like, okay, I know what makes me feel good. I remember this in myself as being an athlete. And I started getting back into that and going back into the gym and working with a crazy personal trainer at the time who was all about like bodybuilding and that kind of world. But she was what I needed because she was no joke. She held me accountable, but she also did it with love. And to this day, she's a great friend and a great mentor for me. But that is what kind of got me going. And then from there, I started getting back into like training other people and realizing I'm being called to this work. I'm being called to training and working a lot, especially with women. And at that time, it wasn't pregnancy and postpartum. It was just women in general. And that led to about 20-year journey of working through that industry of, fitness, different gyms. I love boxing. Boxing is a huge passion of mine.
Mine too.
Yeah, right? It's the best. And then I got into the CrossFit world a little bit because they just kind of mimicked into each other. But what happened probably about 2014-ish, I was in the training world in my gym and training women, and about 5 women at the same time were pregnant. And they were kind of badass, and they were upside down in handstands and using barbells, moving them around their bellies. And I was like, I think they're okay because they look okay, but are they okay? I don't know if they're okay. And I just didn't sit well with that. So I started researching and getting into who's working with pregnant and postpartum. And it was extremely difficult at that time to find anybody that was even, they were like, what are you talking about? Women shouldn't lift over 20 pounds. Their heart rate shouldn't be here. There was no information except for this blog that I kept finding that was the BirthFit blog. And it was Lindsay, who is Dr. Lindsay Matthews, who owns the founder of BirthFit. And she was talking about all these things that I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. And she was a chiropractor, doula, fitness professional. And so I reached out and I said, I'm looking for this help. This is my gym. This is what I do. I have all these women pregnant right now. I just need to know if this is kind of the right thing. So I started just deep diving from there. And as luck would just have it, she was getting ready to start her first coaching seminar. And it was a 4-day seminar where I was amongst, doctors from Cedars-Sinai, chiropractors, midwives, highly, highly sought after people in this world. And I was so humbled by this information that I learned and absorbed. But my life was forever changed in that moment. And what I realized is that was the calling. That was the calling. And so from that moment on, I've just been completely submerged in this world, and I'm in love with what I do. And that started the journey. So I became, I believe it was 2016 is when my first cohort happened as BirthFit coach. And from that moment on, it's just been this journey of learning and growing and nervous system training and healing myself. And this work has been so much less about me and so much more about them. And that's truly when I look at this work and I see the transformation that happens. I can't imagine one moment in my life of that pivot not happening. And with that pivot came so many other life changes that were really hard, and they were personal, and they were really difficult things that could have really taken me under. And this work saved me. And so I think there's this reverence for that in this container that I hold for that, knowing that this was that calling. It was the purpose. It's that purpose-driven life, right? Where you, yes, is it work? So when people say, oh, chase your passion, you'll never work a day in your life, that's not true.
Right.
It's work. It's work to do this. But it absolutely, I could never not imagine not doing it and not giving everything I have into this world. So this work has been beautiful, and it's been such a journey and such an incredible thing to see it grow. And my sub brand, which is Babe Fit, has just taken on its own little life and journey. Yeah.
Because so you basically, I love that you said what you just said, which is you are helping all these moms, but without them knowing, they're totally helping you.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, maybe they know, I'm sure you tell them, but it's just like subconsciously, you don't realize that, no, I have to get up today and I have to do this for them.
So something that I say, and it's a really big thing for me, is I don't have to do anything. I get to do this. I get to get up and serve humans and have people chase a top end of themselves. And I'm healing work, you're not the healer, right? You're helping people heal. And I tell them, I'm here with you. I'm not here for you. This is, you gotta check in. You're responsible, right? You're responsible. It's radical responsibility to know I need this. I'm subscribing to this because I know that I need to take this challenge for myself and to want to be better and to heal and to put myself in a vulnerable position. I'm there to guide, to hold, to keep the container safe and full of positive and enlightening energy, right? And it's not really, honestly, anything that I do rather than hold the container and facilitate correctly with what God's trusted me with. They do it. The magic isn't within them.
Yep. I mean, yeah, as a new mom, the last thing you think about is taking care of yourself. So coming in to that realm and, you know, whatever it is that, you know, the moms are doing, you're right. It's they're doing it because it's like you taking the first step of let me take care of myself and come and be part of this class, this community that you have built, for example. Babe Fit. Love it. I haven't been part of the cohort yet, but I'm waiting. I'm gonna be part of it one of these days.
You kind of are.
Yeah,
you're
I know.
part of the collective.
Yes, the collective I am, but I want to be like part of. Like I want to be that
in it.
I want to do the weights. I want to do it all. I'm just giving myself a little bit more grace. I'm not completely there yet mentally, and I just feel like I need to take it still a little more slower. That's why I had to stop boxing a little bit. I'm just taking it slow, but I love watching the videos and everything. For the listeners, Babe Fit, tell us a little bit, because all I see is, not that all I see, but I see that a mom gets to come and work out like a badass while having her baby there.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And let me kind of explain it a little bit of how it functions and how it works, right? And something that I really want to emphasize that has been really important on my heart lately is a lot of women call this self-care. I want to call this critical care. I don't think that this is self-care. This is not the same thing as us taking time to wash our hair or get your nails done or something like that. Yes, those are important things, extremely. They are self-care. Coming to show up for yourself and heal your body and work on the pieces of you that have just gone through trauma, because trauma, remember, is anything that inflicts something on the body that is a traumatic experience that shifts the nervous system, right? So pregnancy, birth, those are traumas. They don't need to be big T traumas, but they are traumas. And so healing that, it's critical. And there's such, especially where we are in the world, there's such a lack of of that journey. And it's the 6-week, like, cool. All right, so what do you want for birth control? And most of my moms are like, I don't want to know. Like,
Right.
don't you, so it's that, and it's not, hey, do you know what a pelvic floor therapist is? Are you maybe working with chiropractic, or what are you doing for your nervous system? What does this look like? Are you sleeping? Are you eating? Or what's happening? What's happening within your body? Heaven forbid you ask the questions of what's going on and down there, right? And the holes. So that's not even looked at. So I think the program that I've developed, because I'm so blessed and have gotten the opportunity to work with such incredible mentors, and I'm connected with midwives and doulas and chiropractors and pelvic floor therapists and mental health providers and people that are so badass within the women's fitness, health, wellness, family health, wellness, that we've now created, it's like a team, right? So now what I've done with Babe Fit is created, how that works is we come in for 5 weeks at a time. I have now a level 1 and a level 2, which is so rad. But the level 1, they come in anywhere between 5 weeks up into, sometimes I have a mom 6 months, 7 months postpartum coming to me saying, look, I don't know what to do. I've lost myself. All these issues, it's sometimes all they can do to get in a car. So when they first come in and they work with me, there's a posture there that's slumped over. I call it the mom, right? The mom body that happens where we're the nursing, the slunched over. They come in, they're timid. They're walking into a gym. They are with this new life that they're just maybe had to put in a car for the first time. Some of them, this is like their first outing other than a doctor visit. They're doing something that's really hard. And it's these slow steps of making your nervous system feel safe to know, hey, I'm going to go through this, but I'm not going to go through it alone, and that I'm going to slowly develop back within. So this is not just a mommy and me program. This is a program where the first week I'm just teaching a system of breathing and a system of what their body is doing. And the work that I'm based in is nervous system. It's DNS, which is dynamic neuromuscular stabilization. And we're retraining the body as a system to brace and rethink and relearn and use everything as basically, like, if you think about a piston and how the body works and how we brace, and how to notice what's happening in the body too. So a big thing that I'm teaching is not just what does this look like, what does it feel like? Not just listening to your body, feeling into your body. What do we, if I can show a woman what we're talking about, and I don't mean just looking for a diastasis, right? And the coning and all the things. These are just fear-mongering words that have happened in the birth world. I'm actually teaching a woman how to hold space for her body again and what's appropriate for her. And I ask, what does that feel like? Does it feel right? Cool, let's make the adjustment. What do you tell me? What does that feel like? And that is something really cool because you're teaching them how to have those skill sets within themselves. They're retrusting themselves, right? So those slow steps where they can basically say, I took the step and now here's the answer. So it's that slow is fast, and reintroducing that over those 5 weeks. We meet 3 times a week, and our time slot's kind of ish. It's like an hour, 15-ish, because nursing and all those things happen within that space. They are regaining their own capacity. And by week 5, by the time we've had 15 sessions together, they're completely a different version of them. They're talking and laughing and having fun, and the babies are like completely alive, and it's nothing for them to, walk into the gym now, and we've got some booty shaking hip hop music going on, and it's a very different feel from the time they walk in to the time they leave. And most of them repeat the series, which is why I now have that level 2, which is the coolest thing that could have ever happened. And they called for that. That had nothing to do with me. I just moved my schedule, started figuring out things out, started saying no to things so I could say yes to what mattered. And they've created that space. And so now they just keep it on going and keep on training together. And then when they're ready, they move on into my general strength and conditioning program, which is at the Cave. That now 3 days a week, I have a daycare girl there that comes and sits with them as they get older, and they can still continue to work out just in a different time. Like it's 9 o'clock a couple times a week, but they're not having to sacrifice that anymore, because postpartum, a lot of people think that postpartum is just like this acute time, but really we're postpartum for the rest of our life, and we're acutely postpartum for the same time that we were pregnant. So I tell my moms, you're pregnant for about 10 months, right? The whole journey. So you would need to give yourself that long.
Right.
To fully understand what's happening in the body and to really come back into yourself.
I needed to hear that.
Thank you.
Because I am 8 months postpartum, and I'm just like, I really thought I'm gonna have this baby and I'm gonna snap back in 3 months. It's gonna be so, I was an athlete, like I was so athletic all the time, totally gonna happen, and it didn't happen.
Right.
And it just takes so long to accept that, and I'm very much learning through this journey, and I love every guest so far I've had. They kind of like give me the reassurance. But what you just said, 8 months, I mean the 10 months of being pregnant, which is so true. I should, any mom out there that's not 10 months pregnant, 10 months postpartum yet should think about that. Like, give yourself at least that much grace. I mean, they say more than that, obviously, but that's very interesting. I love the way that you said that.
Yeah. And it's a journey. And when we don't take that time, and when we rush a process, especially the process of birth that's so primal, which that's a whole nother topic we can get into about the birth portion of the world that I'm in. But the postpartum journey, it has to be held in such a place that you're not trying to, yes, manifest, yes, do all these things, set your intentions, keep your head space in that growth place, but also to realize that you are now not just this previous version of that, and you are now this new version of you that's this really pretty rad version, because you've just given life and you've had the most like profound experience that a human being can have. And so there's got to be a growth edge to that, right? There's got to be where we're moving through that so that we can be our best for that. And you don't have to be this or that. It's this and that.
Absolutely.
You can still be that version, but know that there's got to be the proper steps of that, and it's just the rush that body back, mommy makeover, this, that, like mommy boot camps. It's such a in your face rush, but it's like, who's holding that space for the mother? Who's really holding that space? And that is where this calling has come in for me, and it's just such a time that is so needed.
Yeah.
So honestly, I can't imagine it not even being a thing anymore.
No, very true. Because like you say, rush. The more a postpartum mom is rushing, I mean, besides the fact that I feel a postpartum mom is on flight or fright the whole time with breastfeeding and just no sleeping in this new life. Even if you're a second time or third time mom, it's still wild. So the cortisol levels are already totally messed up. So with the whole rushing and you're trying, okay, I'm not gonna eat, I'm fasting, I'm working out, I'm running, I'm doing all these different things, and then you don't see a huge change, or let's say you do see a change, but within you don't see or feel the change. So what I get what you're saying. You're giving a mom time to heal and let them do it in the right way without being in such a rush. And I think the most important part of what I think is so beautiful is that, one, you have, like you said, you have different levels now, because it's true. Postpartum, depending on how many months your baby is, like your schedule changes.
Oh yeah.
So I love that you kind of go off of that, and that they can, one, bring their baby. So it is a mommy and me kind of group, but way better. And you're working out. So you know, using endorphins, all that. But the fact that you also have a daycare girl there for like the fitness, like the after the cohorts that you graduate from there. That's rad. I'm gonna use your word. That's really cool. I love that you do this, and I love that you're just so much into this mother community. It's so beautiful to see that.
Thank you. I feel I use the word honored a lot, but I really can't think of a different word that would suit that, because being able to be a part of a woman's journey from birth to conception and then postpartum, and then showing up at like a 1-year-old birthday, holding space for their second pregnancy, third pregnancy, you're literally getting to witness the most incredible, that's an honor. There's not another word for that. And so getting to do it like a lot of times over is incredible. I mean, my first cohort of babies are 9 years old right now.
Wow.
Yeah, 3rd grade.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that you also hold free classes, sometimes like at Lululemon.
Yeah.
You are a Lululemon ambassador.
Yeah.
You're such a badass. But besides the fact that when you do that,
I'm like, am I?
But besides the fact of that, you get to bring more moms together. It's just kind of like word of mouth now. So, hey, Nikki's doing this. Come with me. And like, I get to meet all these moms. I get to bring them. And it's just like, it's just growing and growing. And it feels so good to have that mom community, because I know I didn't have that at first. And I'm just so blessed and honored to have a community now. And it just makes all the difference.
It really does. It really does. And I love, yes, Lululemon that's been such a gift. I have 2 years with them coming up as ambassador. And what really made me say yes to them was they were completely into what I'm doing in the birth world. That was the why. They said, we love this role. This is the role we believe in. We want to support you in it. Yes, I train athletes, and it's really cool, the other modalities of what I do. It's super rad. I train young girls in high school sports, which is it's really cool to teach them about their body younger, so they can hold space for that in their cycle younger. So then as we become mothers, right, we have an understanding of it. So it's kind of a full circle thing. But the work specifically that I do through BabeFit is what they were really ready to support. And that's why it was just a huge yes. It was a big fat yes to be able to do that. So to get to hold the space in the store and do the community workouts, it's really cool. It's great. I love seeing it. It's so fun when you guys all get together like that. And, and then you just see relationships build, and it's just this different, it's that shoulders back. It's that, I got this. It's that confidence that women so deserve, and that we need to hold each other in that and remind each other of that. And we lose it. It's really easy to lose that, or to get lost in the Instagram world and seeing, the influencer, which God love the influencer, because, sometimes that's how we find things and find really beautiful products. But there is a dark side to that too. And a lot of the women will get sucked in that, and they think that they're less than, and it's really a slippery slope. And so I really try to remind women, like, this is the real world. This is what it looks like, right? And we talk real talk. Yep. We talk about sex. We talk about like all the issues that we're going through as women, right? The hemorrhoids, the things that are not really talked about, the not cute stuff. Yeah. Because pregnancy and postpartum is not always cute. So it's just being real and giving the women a safe space to be real with each other. So therefore they can kind of ripple that over into their lives. And I see their relationships become better, their partnerships are better. And that's truly what I want to see too, is I want to be able to help that. I want healthy partnerships. I want to see that thrive within our community, We have such an epidemic of that, of just like, we're in some of the most broken times, right, of that, and the divorce rates are out of control, and things, are just hard. And I think the more that we support the village and women don't feel like they're on their own, the less they're going to come unhinged. Right? And the more that we start supporting the postpartum journey and their time, if they're working moms, that they don't have to go back to work and be in that masculine energy at 6 weeks, when it's not meant to be like that, when we need to be able to hold a little bit longer for that. So that's truly the why behind of what I do, and it's just growing, and my heart is to grow it even further outside of just Santa Clarita. Obviously I love this town, it's where I live and my space is, but I want to see it ripple. I want to see it ripple. I want to see this just be a thing.
And it should be. It's
Yeah.
so helpful, especially in the postpartum realm. So I know, of course, like you said, we're always going to be postpartum after having kids. What would you, I know it's been a long time and you've gone through your healing, but now that you know what you know, what would you tell your 2-week-old postpartum self?
It has been a while, and that time was so different. But I think that it would be the same thing that I tell my women to tell themselves right now. You're doing fine. There's no rush. Breathe. And just take it a moment by moment. Sometimes day to day is even too long. Take it moment by moment. You are safe. Just take it slow. Don't think too far ahead of the game. When we think too far ahead of the game, we get lost and then we lose our time. There's something that happens in the nervous system, and you just spoke on it earlier with the fight or flight. There's also freeze and fawn. So a lot of times what I see in that fight or flight that women get into, and I know this only because I experienced it myself, we can go into a dangerous place, which is where we just kind of freeze. And that freeze can happen for a long period of time, to where it can sometimes be like years of where we're no longer really feeling into ourselves anymore. We can't even feel the fight or flight anymore because we're just there.
Yeah.
And that is a very dangerous place. And that is the place that I don't want to see women go. And it can take a really long time to let yourself feel safe again. And so if we approach it out the gate with, let's just do this in slow, tangible movements and things that we can do that we know, okay, what can I do today? Did I get 10 minutes of sunshine today? Did I drink this much water today? Did I have protein today? Did I move my body for 15 minutes? Things that I love that are non-negotiables, right? That like, okay, what can we say that we did that were those small, where we can check the box on that and know, okay, I'm fine, I'm safe. That was a tolerable step. It's when we try to go so far into that fight or flight that our body's so smart, especially women that have had babies. It knows completely how to adapt into its most primal space. It's going to figure it out. And it's going to figure it out in the safest way that it knows how. And sometimes that can be what I see. And so that part, I don't like that part.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I want to try to intervene. And
That's very true.
I think that's something that I would really pay forward, keep telling people, like, it's not even the fight or flight that we need to be scared of. And I don't use the word scared, but it's the topic that we don't talk about.
Yeah. There's a lot of it that we don't talk about, and that's why I wanted to do this and have you on and so many other moms and women that we're talking about things that usually they don't tell you about, So this is very true. The whole day by day is kind of hard to say, because sometimes the day, for me in the beginning, for example, it was more like half a day by day, because by the time the sun was going down, my anxiety was through the roof. I'm like, oh my God, it's nighttime. Like, I don't know why I was so scared.
Day, right?
Nighttime was so scary. So it's like, I need to moment by moment, even if it's half a day, go by half a day.
Yeah, I love that.
Very important.
Little tolerable steps. Tolerable steps.
Absolutely.
That's the secret.
So true.
Yeah.
Oh man, Nikki, I can sit here and listen to you all day long.
Same.
I love the things that you say, and I love just everything you stand for, and the empowerment, and just you give a woman in general, but especially a postpartum mom, peace. Like your whole aura. That's what it does, and I hope that the other moms listening or watching can feel the same thing, because I'm truly, I mean it. That's what you give me.
Really beautiful. Thank you for that. And the same for you. It's such a light about you from the moment I remember when I met you. And I was like, this girl is she's just so rad and just such great fun energy. And that's the thing that's so important is I don't want women I don't want them to lose that. You know, it's like, we don't have to. It's this and that.
Yeah.
It's this and that. And we get caught up into the mom world and think, well, I'm a mom now. I'm a mom now. Yeah, I'm a mom too. But, you know, I don't want to ever give up how I be. I want my son to flourish and have beautiful relationships and be able to feel like he can do whatever he wants to do with his life. And we show that, right? As moms, we lead that within them. We are that yin and yang for them.
That's
so
true.
yeah, I hope that I'm proud of this podcast. I think
Thank
you're
you.
doing incredible work, and more moms the better. Give them something to listen to, give them something to have an aha moment. They'll connect, get them on a walk, something with all the things that you're working on within the community.
Yep, absolutely.
So I'm really proud of you, and
Thank
again,
you.
honored.
Oh, I'm so honored that you're here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have to do it again. We'll have to do it again.
100%.
And we'll talk about all the births that I'm
Yes,
doing.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's new.
That's it. I know, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me today and being part of this conversation. If you found this episode helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Your support truly helps other mamas find us. And of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and become part of our village so you never miss a new episode. We're all in this together. Until next time, mamas, take care and bye for now.